Are you worried about your friends and family who have gotten this thing right here? If so, stay tuned because I'm going to give you some hope and encouragement around that and 3 possible ways of healing. Welcome to Lift Your Spirit. If you are new here, my name is Kenda. I'm an Action for Canada chapter leader in Nova Scotia. And a little disclaimer, the thoughts and opinions on this channel do not necessarily reflect those of Action for Canada. This channel is about giving hope and encouragement to freedom fighters. If you're interested in patriotic, motivational, and Christian t-shirts and accessories, you can check out my Etsy shop. It's called Lift Your Spirit, and I'll put a link in the description. You're going to want to stay for number 3 because this one is very interesting. So if you are worried about your friends and family and about their health, I want to guide you to some possible ways of healing. The first one is treatment protocols. There are many doctors who already have treatment protocols. One of the great resources that I know of is the World Council for Health. And I'll put a link in the description for this. But you can go to their website. You can search this. I'm going to write it on the whiteboard here. Go to their menu, go to resources, go to articles, and then I believe it's on page 2. So you scroll down until you find this here. And they also have a top 10 list of treatment protocols. So that's an excellent resource. And there are many more. That's one of the best that I've found so far, since they point to not only their own, but also the list of top 10 as well. And there are some prominent doctors on that list. The second healing method is through prayer. I did a couple of previous videos around this. There's one called God Can Heal Anything, and there's another one called The Power of Prayer. I talked about that in this video, and I also talked about that in this video. But prayer is very, very powerful. In those videos, I talk about how I healed eczema, how I healed migraines, and I've been witness to things as well. And I've heard many, many testimonies of people who have been healed. God heals supernaturally. Sometimes it's immediate, and sometimes it takes some time. In the Power of Prayer video, I also show you the best way to pray in order to get what you want. But there isn't anything God can't heal. And we're going to learn that more and more in the future. In fact, I think we're going to learn that. People are going to see that more and more very, very soon because we're going to see a great move of God on this earth. We are going to see the glory of God. There are going to be miracle signs and wonders that we see. We're going to see things that we've never seen before. There are going to be miraculous things around healing and other information that is shared with us that has never been seen before. And that leads me to the third one. There's a documentary series that I watched probably a year ago. And I'm going to write the name of that on the board. And by the way, the reason for the whiteboard now is because I want to extend my reach, which means I want to go on other platforms. And so I'm going to be mindful of what I say. Okay, so this is the name of the film. It's a documentary series. And it's a 17-part documentary series that you can find on Rumble. If you haven't seen it, I do have to warn you, it is one of the most disturbing things I've ever watched in my life. And since then, I've watched many other disturbing things. But when I first saw it, it was shocking and disturbing. When I watched this series, I learned about possible healing methods that they have been keeping secret. They've been keeping many things from us, and one of these things is this healing method. And since then, I've heard about this a few times. Recently, I've heard more about it, actually, and I've seen, it mentioned in other videos. But the healing method that I'm talking about is healing beds. There's some kind of technology, apparently, that they have in which you lie down in the bed. It will tell you exactly what's wrong, and then it corrects any problems in your body and eradicates disease. I don't know the extent of what it can do, and I can't validate this. I don't know for sure if this is true. I really believe it is. I really believe we're going to see this in the future, and possibly sooner than we think. This makes perfect sense to me as well, because for some time I've wondered, how is it that they put these things out into the public, such as this here? They put those things out, and then they put things in our food, and they put out, things in the sky, aerosols that fall from the sky, that kind of thing. I'll write that down, actually, just to make sure you know what I'm talking about. This thing here. And they put all these things out. And so I wondered, okay, well, aren't they worried about how it's going to affect them? What about them and their family? Aren't they worried about their own health and safety? It didn't even make sense to me. But if this is true, it makes perfect sense because they have access to complete healing. It's only a small percentage of people in the world who would have access to this, and so they would be able to use it whenever they would need it. However, if that doesn't come about, you still have the first two healing methods that are very powerful, especially the second one. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment if you have something encouraging to add, share if you know somebody who might find this helpful as well, and subscribe so you don't miss another video. There are many ways to heal. God made certain medicines available to us on earth, natural medicines that can heal anything. Tea tree oil, for example, is excellent for infections. You have to dilute it and you don't want to ingest it. Oil of oregano, again, that kills infections very quickly. It's very potent and it tastes disgusting, by the way, but it works. You know, it's like Buckley's. It tastes awful, but it works. Well, that's oil of oregano. But there are many ways to heal. And in light of that, I have a little story, and I don't know where this story comes from. And I don't know the story off by heart, so I'm going to probably get some things wrong. But the story goes like this. There was a man trapped on an island, and he asked God for some help. Not long after that, someone came by with a canoe, and they said, "Are you stranded? Do you need some help?" And the man said, "No, I'm fine. I'm waiting for God. God's going to help me." So they said, "Okay," and they continued on. Someone came by in a fishing boat and said, "Hey, do you need any help?" And he said, "No, God is going to help me out." So the person on the boat said, "Okay," and they continued on with their journey. Someone came along in a helicopter or a plane and again said, "Do you need any help? Are you stranded?" And the man said, "No, God's going to save me." And so they went on their way. And after some time, the man said, "God, I prayed for your help. Why haven't you helped me?" And God said, "I sent you a person in a canoe, a person in a fishing boat, and a person in a plane to rescue you. And you said no." So the point of the story is that God can help in many ways, and he will help in many ways. Sometimes it's supernatural. Laying on hands is a healing method that's talked about in the Bible. Jesus did that, and he gave us that same ability. But sometimes he will send people, or there will be an event in your life, and he will answer your prayers in that way. He will answer your prayers in different ways. So if you are worried about your friends and family, don't be worried anymore. There are many ways to help them. Pray for them, though. If you pray, pray for them. And God tells us not to be in fear. Fear is mentioned 365 times in the Bible, so once for every day of the year, according to Prophet Julie Green. Fear doesn't come from God. It comes from the devil. There is a way out of this. Sorrow lasts through the night, but joy comes in the morning. There are two prophets I've heard talk about this. One is Julie Green, and she said, I don't know the exact words, but she said God is going to heal our DNA. Joseph Z is also a prophet who talks about this, and he talked about this very recently, actually, and what he said was, there is so much coming out, so there's a lot of truth coming out, and there's a lot more to be coming soon. Julie Green said there would be an avalanche of truth. It's coming. I know we've been waiting a long time, but have hope, it's coming. So he said there's so much coming out, and there will be healing or a cure. He said there will be solutions from multiple sources, which there are now. That just hasn't gone mainstream yet. And he said there are treatments to restore health. So we already know that. Like I said, there are treatment protocols from doctors. However, there are also, I believe, other surprises in store. So be encouraged, my friends. God bless you.